The letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, 20 years too late. Emma stood in her kitchen, coffee growing cold in her hand, staring at the yellowed envelope that had somehow found its way back to her after 2 decades lost in the postal system. The handwriting on the front was achingly familiar, belonging to a man she had once known better than herself, Michael Chen, the boy who had promised her forever and then disappeared without explanation the summer after college graduation. Her hands trembled as she tore open the seal, and the first line hit her like a physical blow. "By the time you read this, I'll be gone and you'll hate me for it. But I need you to know that leaving you is the only way I can truly love you." Emma's knees buckled and she sank into the nearest chair, her heart racing as memories she had buried for decades came flooding back with devastating clarity. If you believe in sacrifices made for love, in the quiet heroism of letting go, please like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring more stories of love, loss, and redemption to viewers like you. Emma had met Michael during their freshman year at Berkeley, 2 ambitious kids from working-class families who had clawed their way into an elite university through sheer determination and academic scholarships. She had been studying pre-law, dreaming of becoming a civil rights attorney, while Michael was a musical prodigy, a pianist whose fingers could coax magic from ivory keys. They fell in love the way young people do, completely recklessly, with the certainty that nothing could ever tear them apart. They studied together in the library, shared ramen in his tiny dorm room, and made plans for a future that seemed as bright and inevitable as the California sunrise. But Michael had a secret, one he had kept hidden even from Emma. His younger sister, Lily, was sick, desperately sick with a rare form of leukemia that was draining his family's finances as surely as it was draining the life from her small body. Michael's parents had mortgaged their house, sold their restaurant, and exhausted every resource to pay for experimental treatments that insurance refused to cover. Michael knew all of this, but he told Emma nothing, maintaining the facade of the carefree college student while his world crumbled in silence. The letter explained what happened next, the truth Emma had spent 20 years trying to understand. During their senior year, Michael had been offered the opportunity of a lifetime, a full scholarship to Juilliard, followed by a guaranteed position with the New York Philharmonic. It was everything he had worked for, the culmination of countless hours of practice, of fingers bloodied from repetition, of a talent so pure it seemed almost supernatural. Emma remembered the day he received the news, how his eyes had lit up with joy before something dark and indefinable clouded them. He had been withdrawn after that, distant in ways she couldn't understand, and when she pressed him about it, he simply said he needed time to think. But according to the letter, Michael wasn't thinking about New York or Juilliard. He was calculating the cost of Lily's next round of treatment, the experimental immunotherapy that offered a 40% chance of survival, but cost more than his parents could ever hope to earn in 5 years. The scholarship would cover his education and living expenses, but it wouldn't save his sister. What would save her was the signing bonus from a different offer, a 3-year contract to perform in hotel lounges and cruise ships, playing background music for tourists who would never truly hear him, never understand what they were witnessing. The money was substantial, enough to cover Lily's treatments with careful budgeting, but accepting it meant giving up Juilliard, giving up New York, giving up everything he had dreamed of since his fingers first touched piano keys at age 5, and giving up Emma. Because Emma had been accepted to Harvard Law School, her own dream within reach, and Michael knew she would never go if she knew the truth. She would insist on staying in California, on working multiple jobs to help his family, on sacrificing her future for his crisis. She would give up Harvard without a second thought because that's who Emma was, fiercely loyal, incapable of abandoning someone she loved. So Michael made a choice that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He broke her heart to save his sister and preserve Emma's dreams. Emma's eyes blurred with tears as she read his words describing that final summer, how he had become cold and distant deliberately, how he had manufactured arguments and pushed her away with calculated cruelty. She remembered the night he told her it was over, his voice flat and emotionless, his face a mask she couldn't penetrate. He said he didn't love her anymore, that college romances were just practice for real life, that she was holding him back from his true potential. She had begged him to reconsider, had cried and pleaded and demanded explanations, but he remained stone-faced until she finally left his apartment. Her heart shattered into pieces she wasn't sure could ever be reassembled. The letter revealed what happened after she left for Harvard. Michael took the cruise ship job, spending the next 3 years playing piano in the Caribbean while his sister underwent treatment after treatment. He sent every penny home living on the bare minimum, his fingers moving mechanically through Chopin and Gershwin for audiences who requested Piano Man and Don't Stop Believin'. He tracked Emma's progress from afar, reading about her law school achievements in alumni newsletters, proud and devastated in equal measure. And when Lily finally went into remission, when the treatments worked and she survived, Michael felt gratitude and grief crash over him simultaneously because he had saved his sister but lost himself in the process. He never went back to classical piano. His technique had deteriorated, his creativity had atrophied, and by the time he was financially stable enough to consider it, he was too old, too far removed from the competition and connections that might have revived his career. He took a job teaching music at a community college, which was meaningful work but nothing like the life he had once envisioned. He never married, never had children, never stopped thinking about the woman he had pushed away to protect. Emma's coffee was ice cold now, forgotten as she read the final paragraphs. Michael had written the letter shortly before his death from a sudden heart attack at age 43, finally ready to tell her the truth but never managing to mail it. His sister Lily, now healthy and married with children of her own, had found it among his belongings and recently decided Emma deserved to know what Michael had sacrificed, even if the knowledge came too late to change anything. The story closed with Michael's final words. "I hope you became the brilliant attorney you were meant to be. I hope you defended the defenseless and changed the world in all the ways I knew you would. I hope you found love again, real love with someone who could stay, and I hope someday you can forgive me for leaving the way I did, for loving you enough to let you go, for choosing your dreams over mine because your dreams always mattered more than my own. You were the best part of my life, Emma, even if I was only a chapter in yours. If this story touched your heart, if you've ever loved someone enough to let them go, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your engagement helps us reach more people with stories that matter." Emma sat in silence for a long time after finishing the letter, tears streaming freely down her face. She had indeed become a civil rights attorney, had built a career defending immigrants and refugees, had made partner at a prestigious firm. She had married eventually, a kind man who gave her stability and companionship, though she had never quite recaptured that all-consuming first love. She had children who were now in college themselves, beginning their own journeys. Before we continue, please comment below. True love never dies. Let's create a wave of love in the comments section. And she had spent 20 years believing Michael Chen had simply fallen out of love with her, never knowing the truth that he had loved her more than she could have imagined. Enough to destroy his own dreams so hers could survive. Enough to become the villain in their story so she could remain the hero. Enough to carry the weight of his sacrifice in silence for the rest of his abbreviated life. Emma picked up her phone with shaking hands and dialed a number she found through directory assistance. When a woman's voice answered, Emma took a deep breath and said, "Lily? This is Emma Williams. I think it's time we talked about your brother. Because some truths arrive late but are never too late to acknowledge. Some sacrifices, though made in silence, deserve to be honored. And some love stories, even those that end before their time, deserve to have their final chapter written with the truth that was always there, waiting patiently to be discovered. Michael had given up his dream for her. She couldn't give him back those lost years, couldn't restore what he had sacrificed, but she could make sure his story was remembered, his sacrifice acknowledged, his love finally understood for the profound gift it had been, and in that remembering, perhaps both of them could finally find the peace that had eluded them for so long.